Now we're going to talk a little bit about Vitalief's rapid activation services, and Jen's got the perfect experience to share with us because she's been integral in not only designing and building those services, but actually delivering them to our clients. So, first of all, Jen, you've seen activation challenges from many organizations. What gap do you feel Vitaleaf is trying to close with its rapid activation services?
Yeah, Monique, sites really struggle with having the time to sometimes focus on a new study startup. I've been at the site my entire career, and I will tell you that you get pulled into so many things at the site level. It's a new fire every day. So trying to carve out time to really focus on reading, understanding, and getting the complicated startup pieces put together is a challenge for a lot of sites. So I would say having the bandwidth and the dedicated time and effort to put into that is really where we can step in and help a site be successful.
Makes sense. Focus is critical there. Can you walk us through how this approach supports things like the feasibility, IRB readiness, contracts, budgets, and all that back office work that often slows things down?
Yes. So the way we work with our Rapid Activation Initiative is we come in and we become a part of your team. So we're really just an extension of what you're doing. And we will help from the very beginning with the internal review committees, making sure that the questions are answered, that everyone feels comfortable moving forward. And then we're able to bring that continuity from IRB submission, the budget development, the Medicare coverage analysis, if you're getting that in place, especially if you're working with complicated oncology protocols, and then the final contract piece. They all work together, and everything that you do affects the other. It's a very much of a domino effect. So having a dedicated team of people to come in and work with the team to do that and bring that consistency really speeds up the process significantly.
And where do you think the greatest value is for sites if they, particularly those that might be understaffed or juggling multiple competing priorities?
So I think it takes a lot of pressure off of their current teams, not only their clinical lead, but also the regulatory side of their group. They're competing with a lot of trials at some of these large academic medical centers. Not only do they have startup, but they have amendments and they have renewals and they
Mm.
have so many other pieces that go on when you're dealing with clinical research. So being able to take that away from them and not only help them get their trials up and running faster, but to bring their time to activation down across the board, even if it's with a handful of high priority studies that they want to work on, we can allow their other team members to do more and just take the pressure off, really.
Sure, sure.
And the flip side of that is getting these trials up and running. The physicians are happy, the patients are happy. You're able to enroll for more, months in the process, and it's really just overall, it seems to be very satisfying to the site to be able to have that extra help to get them going. And the team that comes in is a very experienced team. So it's not someone new that has never done a budget or a contract. We're talking people that have been in the industry for 20 or 30 years. They know how the process works. They know how to write a consent form. They know when to escalate things to the decision makers, to not get in that rut of sitting on desks. So I think that's the biggest benefit.
And for a site or sponsor that's struggling today, what's the first benefit they'll see when Vitaleaf comes in?
I think what they're going to see is very personalized service. I would call it kind of concierge service or white glove service. When we start these projects, we have a kickoff meeting with all the key stakeholders. And in that meeting, we talk about the importance of communication. We talk about the importance of timelines and meeting those timelines, escalation when needed. So I really feel like the team is all on the same page when we kick off. It's not just an email with a startup packet. We really kind of take it back to the basics and say, let's talk about how this is going to work for all of us. We even talk about things like vacation and time out of the office, so that if we need to build in coverage in one area, whether it be from our side or the CRO or the sponsor, we're able to do that and really hold each other accountable. So I think, the best part of it, the sponsor feels like their study is the highest priority, and this team gets up every day, and that's what they do. They work to get that study up and running for them. They're not pulled into 10 different things. So it's not rocket science, but I think it's making a huge impact in the industry.
Well, and that alignment is so critical, right? Aligning our team with their team and making sure everyone's going in the same direction. So,
Right, exactly.
can you talk about maybe even a recent example where a rapid activation approach made a meaningful impact?
Sure. Um, I feel like, when we come into a new client, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get used to their systems and kind of where they are. We can immediately make an impact because we can get that time to activation down, to maybe 90 days, which is somewhat of the gold standard around the industry right now. But I would say after the first couple trials and once we're in there and know the system, we can really get that down to, somewhere between 60 to 70 days, which is equivalent to some of the independent, smaller clinical research sites and what they're doing now. So what we've seen is sponsors shy away from large academic medical centers because they just think, oh, the time is going to be too long, too many hoops to jump through. We have really changed that dynamic. And there's no reason for sponsors not to go to these large academic medical centers, first off, where they have the most patients with that indication that they're trying to study. And also, they have the thought leaders. They have physicians that are really at the top of their game and have stayed in
Mhm.
academics because of their love for research and science. So, it's been a shame over the years to see research going away simply because of time to activation. I think we can have that at the large centers just like we do everywhere else.
That's exciting. That's very
It
exciting.
is.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time today, Jen.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.